Hi guys, welcome to Zortex Anxiety Support, or welcome back if you've watched one of our previous videos. Today's video is going to be about managing stress. 2020 was a crazy year. A lot happened. It started off with a lot of intense events, and actually it just got a whole lot worse for most people. Now obviously we don't know what 2021 is going to bring, but there's likely to be some level of stress one way or another. We all experience it, whether it's to do with work or home. We all experience stress pretty regularly. So how do we manage that? Well, first we've got to understand that experiencing little bouts of stress isn't actually a bad thing. We usually perform better under stress. It helps us focus, and it makes us more efficient to a point. So when you feel that pressure of a deadline, you actually perform to reach that deadline. If you never experienced any stress, you might just put it off till later, not really worry about the quality of work, not really worry about what you're achieving in life, which I'm not saying is necessarily a bad thing, but you can achieve more with just little bits of stress. But what's been happening in recent years is that stress just doesn't go away. Stress releases a chemical, and that chemical is good unless it's in long doses. So those long doses, that's when you start to have more problems like confusion, anxiety, depression, because you just can't cope with constantly being under stress. So as I said, think about an exam, right? It's a stressful situation. It's like 1 or 2 hours long. But what if that exam was like 10 hours long, but in one sitting? So I had a photography exam back at A-levels in sixth form, and that was 10 hours long, but it was split into 2 days. So it was like 5 hours, and really, to be fair, it wasn't a stressful exam anyway, because it wasn't answering questions, it was just editing a series of photos and creating your final piece, but you just had to prove that you were editing the photos. But imagine it's like an intense environment. So it just wouldn't be good. You would just get tired, you wouldn't be able to focus anymore clearly, you wouldn't really know what you're doing. And it's bad for your mental health overall, being that stressed. So how do we battle it? First thing I would recommend is a priority list. Obviously, there are so many things we need to do. Life is full of wonderful things now. Life isn't just simple. You have work, your hobbies, any responsibilities that you have. Then you have the things that you want to do in your spare time, like if you want to watch a film, read a book, learn a musical instrument. There's a lot that we want to do, and we have access to it, which is fantastic, but it also means time feels very restricted. So create a to-do list, plan out your week, say this is what I'm going to do this day, and I'm not going to worry about it any other day. I also try to do that as when I make my to-do list, I make it for the week. So I think, okay, I want to write 1 chapter of the book, I want to work on a screenplay, I want to spend some time on social media, I want to make a video. So those kinds of things you want to plan out, and then you see if it's realistic or not. Because if it's not realistic, again, there's no point. If you've got 50 things you want to do in 1 week, you've only got 7 days to do them. So immediately you can say, actually, I'm going to cut that down. Make it 10 things that I want to do in a week. If you can do more, great. There's nothing stopping you from doing extra, but it means you're taking away that stress that you would put on yourself. Same goes for work, actually. If you can delegate your own tasks to certain times, certain days, you know what you're capable of, you know how much you can achieve in a certain period of time, so manage your time. Once you do that, you'll notice that your stress starts to just go down a little bit, because everything feels under control. A lot of people experience stress and anxiety when they feel they're losing control, which I've done a whole separate video on. So make that to-do list. The next thing is self-care, right? Take time out for yourself every single day. Plan something relaxing every single day. That might mean a little bit of meditation, that might mean exercise, that might mean a bubble bath. It really depends what works for you, but make sure to just take some time out every day. We all have different patterns, so I would say the best time is before bed, but some people are most productive then. Personally, I'm much more productive at night time than I am first thing in the morning, and I find it easier to work in the evening. So for me, I try and just take out a chunk of time in the afternoon, which I can do because I go see my horse anyway in the afternoon. So two birds with one stone. But figure out when works for you and change it up every day. You know what I mean? Just going out for a coffee with a friend. It really depends what works for you. But self-care is so important because it just gives you that chance to just detach from whatever stress is going on in your life. You know, a lot of us experience stress at home now, whether it's the people we're living with or responsibilities or financial obligations. So being able to get out of the house and do something fun is definitely something that will lower those stress levels. I'd also highly recommend cutting toxic people out of your life. It's quite a controversial thing in terms of being understanding and forgiving, and I'm a big advocate for forgiveness. I don't think you should hold a grudge against anybody, but there comes a point where somebody's just not good for your mental health. They're not bringing anything positive for your life. Even if you're filling their life with positivity, if it's not having a good effect on your life, what's the point? There's no problem helping people, especially if it doesn't take a toll on you. You know, if a friend really needs to speak, then pick up the phone, you know, but otherwise I think cut them out, because you don't achieve anything by being around toxic people. You know, like for like, when they talk about manifestation, that is kind of what they're saying. If you plan to be around something or to have something in your life, then it will come to you. I kind of believe that in a different way, but it's the same with people. If you're around negative people, you will start to feel negative. You will start to be more negative. You will start to see the world in a bad light. But the same way, if you surround yourself with positive people, then you're creating that little bubble of light. And I think that's what's really important as well, because it's super stressful trying to hang out with people that are problematic. It doesn't really bring anything good because there will always be a problem, even if you do your absolute best. So look out for you, right? And it's the same with jobs. I mean, it's hard to say because obviously we all need some kind of income. But if you find that a job is really taking its toll on you, look for another one. See what other options there are. See if you want to completely change your career path. You know, we only have one life. We should live it as best as we can. And if something's really not making you happy, then see why. Is it to do with the person? Is it to do with the career? Is it to do with the place? I mean, I wouldn't advise quitting your job without having a backup plan, because obviously that can then lead to a totally other type of stress. And that then leads on to another point of just look at the other things in your life when you're really stressed out about something. Because for me, when I had a really stressful situation at work, it just felt like the be-all and end-all. You know, it just consumed my thoughts. But actually, on a day that I went horse riding, I realised I wasn't bothered about it at all. I'd totally forgotten about it. Even though if I didn't have that, I would have carried on thinking. So I would definitely recommend just taking some time out and just seeing what's around and what else is good in your life. Those are kind of my top tips for managing stress. Drop a comment below on your tips for managing stress or what your New Year's resolution is. Don't forget to drop a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and I'll see you next time.